Hey, in today's video, I'm going to introduce you to my 54 Chevy 5-window truck. I've had this thing since 1980, so 43 years, and I'm going to give you a little walk around, tell you some history about it, and we're going to do that right after this. All right, I've got my 54 Chevy here. But this is a truck I bought in 1980. This thing's been around the world with me. It used to look a lot nicer. I'll show you a picture right here. This is how it looked in about 1980 after I had it freshly painted. I also had a diamond tuck velvet upholstery. I'll try and show you a picture of that inside. It's still got a little bit of that. You can see some when we open the door up. I'm gonna give you a walk around and you'll probably be able to see it a little bit better. Okay, so I'll do a little walking and talking here. You can see it's seen better days. It was in pretty good shape in about 1981 or so, but I've taken the original seats out and put these in as temporary brackets just so I can move it around and such. You can see the diamond tucked upholstery here. I had these chrome plated. They need more work again. Of course, all the glass needs replaced now. Pretty much needs everything now. At one time I had a nice stereo in it, and you can kind of see where I had the stereo in the dash, and I had fiberglassed it. This thing has a Muncie 4-speed and this Hurst shifter. And right now I got these seats here that have all this air adjustability. I think I'm gonna try and keep these and get them reupholstered. You can see I've got new tires on here. These old wheels I bought in 1984 in Cheyenne, Wyoming when I was stationed at F.E. Warren Air Force Base. But the tires I did replace finally. They were just weather checking. And basically, guys, this thing needs everything. I plan on, I'm waiting till I can kind of do a frame off restoration, but it's gonna be more like a Restomod, I think, where it's going to look like a 54, but it's going to have modern components in it, modern drivetrain, better rear end. I'm probably going to get rid of the Muncie 4-speed, and that's partly because the shifter comes out right there, but the transmission linkage is right back here somewhere. So I had to build this gooseneck thing to get it over there, and that got rid of the short throw. It's a pretty long throw for a Muncie. And the cab's a little crowded for somebody who's 6'2", so pushing these clutches in this thing is just not ideal. So we're gonna completely go through this. I mean, almost everything on this is gonna get replaced, including the engine, the wiring, the brake system, everything except the body. That's about the only thing I'm gonna keep, and I'll get that all fixed up. Now this grill is something my dad chromed for me. It's taken a beating over time. He chromed that for me when I got out of basic training in the Air Force, so kind of has special meaning. I came back and found a chrome grill. Back then in 1980, I wired this one wire at a time. I rewired the whole thing because I had a wire fire in it. Converted it to 12 volt. It looks like hell, of course, now, but this all used to be a lot neater and tighter. I'm gonna get rid of all that and go to a wiring harness. And I will tell you that when I wired that up, it worked the first time. Everything on it worked. I've always kind of understood mechanics and electronics. I was an electronic warfare technician in the Air Force. I actually graduated top of my class after 9 months of school with something like a 95% average. So I kind of get electronics, although I forgot a lot of that. Now, some of the problems I've got on this is we're gonna try and start this today. This hasn't been started in 2 or 3 years, and that's probably because it's not really drivable, because back when I was younger, I put power steering tilt column in it. So if we go around to here, you can see it does actually have a tilt column. And then I put my own power steering in it, but the problem is I didn't understand geometry. You can see the power steering pump. So that geometry caused it to bind over many years, and finally about 8 years ago I was driving it up on a really bad place to break down. It was the Colorado National Monument, where if you go off 2 foot off the road, you go about 1,000 feet down to the bottom. The steering, one of the grade 8 bolts on it snapped, and we managed to limp it off the hill, but it was pretty scary. So I haven't driven it since because I know the steering needs fixed, but I want to put probably a power rack and pinion in this, so I just really don't want to fix it. Today I'm just trying to get it movable, drivable, but I tore the rag joint recently, which if you're not familiar with that, it's this part of the steering. It was getting old and we needed to move it, and I couldn't start it. I didn't have a battery. So I tried to force the power steering and I tore the rag joint. So I got to replace that just so I can move this thing. We're going to try and start it today. I've checked the oil's fine. I just bled the brakes. It's got terrible leakage in the master cylinder and probably the wheel cylinders. So those all need replaced, but for now, I just want to have enough brakes to stop it so I can move it, because underneath this cover right here is a 27 Model T. And here's a picture of what that looks like. I need to be able to move that also, so I'm getting this one ready so we can work on it. So I think to start with, I'm gonna see if this thing might even start at all. I'm not sure if the battery is even up. I had a battery charged up and I stuck it in there about 3 months ago, but it's an old battery I brought back to life, so it might have gone dead again. We're gonna try that. And what this has in it for a motor, this is a 400 small block, in case you're wondering. I took this out of a station wagon and put it in here, and I put the Y-end intake on. It's just like an RV manifold. It's nothing aggressive, because honestly, this thing doesn't have the suspension and everything to hook up anyway. All it wants to do is spin the tires, so. Okay, I've got a little gas in here. We'll squirt a little in because I know it's gonna need it. Let's see. That was easier than I thought. Wow. All right. The engine still starts after all these years. I rebuilt this in about 1982 and it's still going strong. I'll tell you, as soon as I can afford it, we're going to be working on this. I have another YouTube channel called That Celtic Guy DIY, where we have 280,000 subscribers. I just launched a drywall academy over there. If that takes off, we're going to buy property and a shop, and this will be one of the first things I start working on again. Thanks for checking out the video. If you want to see more like this, let me know. Be sure and comment, and of course like, subscribe, all that good stuff, so I know you want to see more like this, and we'll see you then.